Hi, this is Mark Kemper with EMS, and in this video we're going to demonstrate the Surphaser long-range 3D scanner. For this particular demo we're going to do the 100 HSX. There's actually numerous models of the Surphaser available, but it's basically a long-range scanner for doing things like aircraft, as you see here, large vehicles, large industrial equipment, etc. So what we'll do in the video is we'll kind of go through and show you how the scanner works. We'll take a look at the data and the whole process of converting the data and then using it for things like reverse engineering and inspection.
Okay, so let's start and talk about how the Surphaser 3D scanner works. Now, the Surphaser is what's called a hemispherical scanner. And basically what that means is the whole unit or the body rotates around 360 degrees. Now, at the same time, you can see in the center, there's a mirror or a lens in there with a mirror, and that mirror is on a 45. So the laser is actually inside the unit and is shot out towards that mirror, with the mirror being on the 45 and the mirror spinning around as well. The mirror then reflects the laser basically out, and it's basically pulsing one point at a time. And the mirror is again reflecting it until it hits an object, and it's basically getting a return back to the sensor, and it's basically measuring the distance. So it's firing out up to 1.2 million points per second. It's rotating 360 degrees in one direction and 360 degrees in the other direction. Now, as you can see, though, it can only collect 270 degrees in the one direction, because obviously you've got the scanner underneath itself there, and it can't scan underneath itself. But again, it's basically firing out a point, hitting the object, and then measuring the distance back, and doing this very, very rapidly. So as you see here, it's going to collect everything in this hangar, including the aircraft, the walls, the ceiling, everything. Now, Surphaser has been making hemispherical scanners for over 10 years now. And if you talk to anybody in this industry that's been around, what they'll tell you about the Surphaser, it offers by far the highest accuracy, the highest resolution, and really unmatched data quality. There is no other product like the Surphaser, and it's really why it's used for high accuracy, high quality reverse engineering and inspection. It is considered a metrology tool for large format scanning. Okay, so now let's take a look at some of the features of the Surphaser. As you can see, it's a pretty compact size, and with the small case, you can actually take it on an airplane and put it in the overhead. So it's easy to travel with it. You'll also notice it is battery powered. You can plug it in, but it does run off batteries. And if you have a few batteries with you, you can basically go all day. Now, the other nice thing about the system is it uses Wi-Fi to communicate with a phone or a tablet. So you can basically remotely tell it to scan. You can do a preview and window in on an area, and then just go and scan that area, and do a bunch of other functions right from the tablet. So setting it up, you can either have it on a tripod, you can put it just down on the ground, or you can use like a jib arm system. You can use a magnetic mount. There's all kinds of ways. You can basically put the Surphaser in any orientation you want to run it, but very easy to set up and get started and do your scanning. Now, the reason why you want to be able to put the scanner on the ground and up high in other locations is because scanners are line of sight. Basically, the scanner has to be able to see what it's scanning. So what that requires us to do with large objects is move the scanner around, both in high and low positions. For example, with this aircraft, we're going to need to take about 30 scans to get data on the whole aircraft. And what the scanner basically is doing is just collecting points. As we talked about, it's shooting out that laser and collecting, millions and millions of points. And we need to have a good way to align all those data sets, because As you take each one, they really don't have any correlation to each other. So as you see here, we've got spheres on the ground, or targets, and basically we're going to use those to align the data sets, because in each scan we're going to pick up at least 4 common spheres, and that will allow us to align them. Now, we like to have more than that, and that's why you see so many of them on the ground. You can also use flat targets as well, and those can be used, but we use typically for aircraft and stuff we're moving around, spheres is the best way to go. And we'll bring some of that data in to software that can identify and find the center of those spheres, and then do target registration and align all of that data for us. Let's go ahead and take a look at the different model surfacers there are. Currently there's 5 different model surfacers, and they're really broken down into 2 different groups as far as the applications you would use them for. The Model 10 and Model 400 are primarily used for AEC. That would be things like building structures, civil, architectural, things like that. And then the 75U ultra short range, the 100 HSX short range, and the 100 HSX intermediate range are really more for mechanical engineering, metrology, reverse engineering, more of things like aircraft, vehicles, marine products, big industrial pumps, power generation, things like that. A little bit smaller stuff. And if you look specifically at the range, and basically what the range is basically how far the scanner can see. You can see with the ultra short range, it's very, very short. And that is really meant for, putting the scanner inside things or getting up very close on smaller objects. That could be inside a vehicle, like a military vehicle or a car or something like that. The short range, you can see, will go out to about 7 meters. And again, that's just how far the scanner will see and basically get a return back. So that'll go out to about 7 meters. And then the IR, depending on the settings, will go out as far as 50 meters. The AEC systems, the Model 10, will go out as far as 110 meters, while the Model 400 will go out as far as 250 meters. The yellow systems all have an integrated color camera system, so they will scan in color. The blue, the 100 series, do have an add-on camera if color scanning is important to you. And the key thing back to the 100 series and even the 75 is, if you look at the accuracy, there is nothing else on the market in a hemispherical scanner that gets even close to the accuracy and the quality of data from the Surphaser. So looking at the SR, basically 24 microns at 4 meters. Now in English, that's about a thousandth of an inch at 13 feet. That's the accuracy of the scanner. So very, very high accuracy. And then if you look at the IR, you're about 3 thousandths of an inch at about 33 feet. So again, very, very good accuracy in a non-contact 3D scanning system. So this is just a good overview of all the different current models available on the market today. You can see the scanning rate is up to 1.2 million points per second, depending on the scanner. So again, just a good overview of the current systems. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the scan data in more detail, and also talk about the applications of where you would use this. So as you see here, this is a large aircraft, and you can see this is the raw scan data, and you can see the quality of it. And this has actually been decimated down quite a bit, just to make the modeling process go easier. But this is what the raw scan data looks like. So very high quality. This hasn't been smoothed or massaged. It's really just been decimated down to a smaller polygon count, but very high quality, very high accuracy. And then what you see here is the final CAD model. Now keep in mind, to go from raw scan data to CAD data is not a push button operation. It can take days to weeks to months, depending on what you're working at. But this is the final delivery, which is a full-blown feature-based solid model of this entire aircraft. Now, one other thing too, when we're doing objects this large, Sometimes we will, in the scanning process, integrate using what's called a laser tracker. A laser tracker takes single points at very high accuracy, and we will set up those spheres with some what's called SMR nests and laser track all those points first, and then align the data to that. So we're not going to go into detail here today in this video for that, but just keep that in mind. The Surphaser actually can be integrated with other measuring equipment for even higher accuracy. So this here is a industrial application for the Surphaser. We're actually down about 60 feet scanning a large industrial pedestal that you see here that has to be very accurately reverse engineered. So again, it's nice to have the portability, the Wi-Fi, the battery power to go down in some remote, very tight locations and do the 3D scanning. As we mentioned, vehicles like large military vehicles is another great application for the Surphaser. You can see here these are some land assault vehicles. We actually scanned 5 variants of them and completely CAD modeled them inside and out. Here you can see 3 of them, the final CAD models. Inspection is another great use of the Surphaser for large objects. What you see here is a large impeller, about a 4-foot diameter, and then this here is the actual raw scan data. And then what we do is we import the CAD model, do an alignment with the two, and then we can do all kinds of inspection. Here you see just an accuracy color map, but we could do full GD&T and any dimensional measurements we want. Another great use for the Surphaser is things like buildings, structures, artwork, things like that. Here you see we're doing some large pillars. We scanned the entire site and then put the Surphaser on a lift and got up tall to get very high detail of the capitals. So we did a full 3D scan of this historic site. A lot of times this is used for anything from reproduction to inspection and or just digital archiving. Okay, so just to wrap up, the Surphaser hemispherical 3D scanner is a very high resolution, high accuracy 3D scanner typically used for larger objects such as industrial equipment, aircraft, vehicles, marine, etc. It's very easy to use, it's very portable, and there's really no other product on the market that can do what the Surphaser 3D scanner does.